Hello, everyone. I want to pronounce that I have had my captivity turned. And before I went to do the will of the Father in heaven, I remember before I got the spiritual boils at Job, I remember that I had some money, I had a peaceful mind. I had a lot going for me. And when I lost it all, I cried terribly that it had gone away. But now I understand what happened. I actually got pulled away to stop saying Lord, Lord, but actually say, I've done the will of the Father in heaven. And now I've got two 11-foot warrior angels. Yep, they're holy. And I've got the mega whole world and the very, very great things. And I'm sane, as you can see. And I do have a nice bodybuilding physique because God put me back together piece by piece. Yep, because that was always me. I was always a buff guy. I'm no different from what I used to be. I used to bench press just 70 pounds more. But it looks the same. Yeah, I'm a bodybuilder, not a weightlifter, so it's not like the numbers matter. I just have to look good. So anyway, this is not going to be a short. This is actually going to be a video where I explain everything. I had witchcraft on me, soaked. I was soaked in witchcraft, sitting in my car, praying, and the attackings that happened to me were massive attacking. And I even had a gigantic attack one time. And I remember it. It was something like I was living on the wicked things, the evil things. I was living on nothing. And if I put a health score on myself, I think I had probably a 7% score in health. And it was actually assisted suicide. And that's what I went through. Assisted suicide. They were guiding me to the road to get hit by a Mack truck. And I was brain controlled, mind controlled, mightily. It wasn't some normal brainwashing mind control. It was actually a very, very strong mind control. I'm sane right now. As you can see, I'm coherent. You can understand my English. I'm not babbling about nothing. I'm not saying things that are delusions of grandeur and grandiose. I'm actually being realistic. And I want you to know that I'm actually 1 in 400 people to have all that I have now in terms of my skin and bone, in terms of my person, in terms of my health. Because remember, there's health and wealth. And I might not have wealth, a little wealth, but I have health. And I'm fully 100%. I'm 100% score in health. I'm healthy. And there's nothing wrong with me. And so now I can go out and maybe go back to UPS, or maybe figure out some other way to make it work. But I have investments, and my portfolio is nice. Like I said, I have a little wealth. And that's a whole lot. I'm not a millionaire, but with the way things are looking in the markets today, if I just sit on what I got and I can hold on for the long term, I will be a millionaire. I'm not going to say my portfolio, I'm not going to tell you how much money I got, but I will say this: I have been blessed by God again. Yep. And I received the full punishment for being blameless and upright when I was 21. And then when I was 22, I began to lose it all. I began to start to become a sent person. Then at 25, I was called. Then at 26, I was chosen. And the buck stops there, because once you're chosen, even if you fall away, you still go to heaven. And you'll be saved as though by fire. Yep, and I've walked with God for 5 years. He came down and started talking to me once he saw how serious I was. And I wasn't exactly perfect through my ride in terms of the hypocrites who would say, "Oh, come on, you curse God, you're terrible." No. Satan cursed God, and I had nothing to do with it. Okay, and I'm not going to get into that because that's actually advanced class about how the will of the Father in heaven really works, because God looks at the heart and sees what is really happening, because he's infinite in understanding, Isaiah 40, and he is unsearchable in his understanding. So I'll finish with this. I have the New Testament to follow, and I will never be glorifying the Father in heaven at that level ever again, because I'm done. I've had my captivity turned. I've got a hedge of protection. I'm hedged in on every side. And if you're interested, I can actually teach you, if you ask me, in a video, how to inherit the kingdom of heaven. But until you actually come to me and look for me to be a steward of God's kingdom and share the good news of the true gospel, which is actually to be beaten in the synagogues. Yep, happened to me. Yep, it was a different circumstance, but I was beaten. I had people bleed me in the name of Satan right out of their mouth. I've had Satan all over me, soaking me in witchcraft in a way that was actually large classification of witchcraft, soaking. And I have been persecuted. And that actually is the key. It's actually a strong persecution that has to take place for you to inherit the kingdom of heaven, because that's the will of the Father in heaven. And if you're just lightly persecuted, you're going to say, "Lord, Lord," at the end, and you'll go right in the lake of fire, and you'll have lesser condemnation, because the brood of vipers did not allow you to go through the door. You see, and I knew about this, and I went through the fight, and they used their magic and they used their wonders to stop me from going through, and I actually juggernauted. I bulldozed. If you don't know what the juggernaut is, that's X-Men. My way through the brood, into the door, knowing what I was doing, and I busted in there. Okay? So anyway, I won't talk anymore until somebody messages me and is interested in the kingdom of heaven. Then just ask me, and I'll make a video and actually walk you through how to go to heaven. Until that time, I'm retired now from my work with the Lord, and I might end up as Buster Brown again, a UPS driver, making 140 grand a year, which is the new contract. I read it online. Working 11-hour days. Yep, which is what we do. Yep, and we're limited by the Department of Transportation how many hours we can drive, but that's why they have so many drivers covering different routes, because they get the job done. UPS is the best. And I still remember sorting my truck. I still remember the space and visibility, the 5 points. So going in there, I'd go to class and I'd just have easy street, you know. But I guess that's it. About me, I actually am a serious guy. And I joke probably once a month and make everybody laugh. But I'm a serious guy. And I keep myself self-controlled when the Lord lets me do that. You see, you have to know that He takes away and then He gives back. He gave back. Yep. And one final thing, because now we've already passed it, I already told you, contact me about heaven, and I'll tell you about it, and I'll tell you how to go there. When I was at UPS, I was actually not wealthy. No. Because I had expenses. Okay? To do the job. And it does get expensive. Commutes. Driving 110 miles a day with gas prices. Having to repair your vehicle. I remember 2 weeks of my pay just went down the drain over a car deal one time at a mechanic's place. They took 2 weeks of my check and I was broke. So being a UPS driver isn't as fancy as it looks. You actually have expenses. You have $3,000 out the door like that over nothing. Because you don't have time to take care of your things, so they break. And if I just ride the interest here and take off the interest from the top and keep the principal in and keep most of the interest in, I guarantee you I'm going to be wealthy and have millions of dollars within 7 years. And that's actually from the Lord. It's a prophecy. I think it's going to happen. Yeah, and I won't tell you what it is, but I've got my portfolio and it's going to go well. So I don't need to do anything. I can just drink my coffee and play Black Ops and just chill. Yeah. And my mortgage is already paid off because I did good investing. So I've really got no worries, really. No. So anyway, for the final time, I reach out to the world and do the Great Commission. That if you want to hear about the real heaven and not Joel Osteen, no, he doesn't talk about witchcraft on your flesh soaking you. He doesn't talk about gigantic, infected, oozing boils all over your body, which was the same thing that I went through, but I had soaking of witchcraft. It was invisible. Whether you do this or that, or you're just beaten in the synagogue and you're beheaded at the end after your journey of light witchcraft, which is light affliction. Yep. See, I know the different ways to go to heaven, and I can teach you them. How to become a celestial is actually not just going to church and going to small group. No. It's not just honoring your mother and your father. You actually have to suffer. Okay, and I'll finish this another day when I actually get one of my subscribers to send a message that they would like to go to heaven. Then I will tell you how to do it, and I'll show you what I did. It took me 9 years of what I call real Christian years. 9 years. And I get to grow to old age, like Job. I get to go to old age because that's what the Lord provided me with, old age. And however it works, some people he lets die at the cross someday, some people he lets go to old age. But either way, message me or comment whatever that you'd like to go to heaven, and I'll make a video about heaven and how to go there. And I didn't tell you yet. No, I didn't give you the words that you have to speak to enter in, to do the will of the Father in heaven to start. I didn't give you the words, and I'm not going to. Until somebody says they want to go to heaven, then I'll do it for the sake of one, and I'll leave the 99 and I'll pick up one, is all that I'm counting on. And I'll turn you into a celestial as long as you actually don't just watch it once you say I want to go to heaven, but you actually do what I said. Because I did do. Not say it, I did the do. So you have to do. A monkey can try, just do. A monkey can say, we're human, just do. So that's it. I've spilled the beans about how things are going and how I've got it, and it's a soft life, really, is what it is. And the witchcraft is gone. Yep, like I said, I've got 11-foot angels. And I'm sitting on the very, very great things, which is all that's available, is the mega whole world, and that's all that's available. And I'm 100%. And I have one suit that I own because I'm a minimalist. I actually don't like a lot of things. So I've got one suit for weddings and funerals. I've got 6 sets of clothes that I set up. I've got it all. I've got my food coming in. I have endless drinking water. Everything's working straight. Everything's fine in the home because we have time to take care of it. And so just know that I'm doing well. And I know in my former videos I went crazy and said things that don't make sense. I deleted them. Yep, I deleted them. I did. So anyway, to finish, I've got the mega whole world, I've got 100% score, and I've got the very, very great things. Yep, which is what it's called. And I'm 1 in 400 people. I'm actually Top Gun. Which means I'm the top 0.25%. Which is actually all that exists. So anyway, video's about to end on its own, so I'll go ahead and end there. Message me or comment, whatever. If you're interested in heaven, I'll tell you how to go there. Take care, guys. And check this out. This was expensive. You see that? I just showed you that I have quite a bit of money, so yep, God has returned to my hand double of what he took away. And I just showed you proof. Okay, guys, take care. Time's up. Please send me a message or a comment about heaven. Okay, bye.